7 driving habits that double your engine's life and reliability. 2 BMWs leave the factory on the same day with the same engine. 10 years later, one owner is facing a 5-figure rebuild, and the other is still driving it past 250,000 miles without a single major repair. The difference usually isn't the badge, the oil brand, or luck. It's a handful of small driving habits, repeated the same way every single day, that either protect an engine's internals or quietly wear them down without anyone noticing until it's too late. None of this is about babying the car. It's about a few specific moments: how you start it, how you shut it off, how you accelerate when it's cold, where the habit you default to determines how this engine ages. Let's go through all 7. Habit 1. Never push a cold engine. Your engine builds oil pressure within seconds of starting. That's not the issue. The issue is that pressure doesn't mean every component is fully protected under heavy load yet, especially in the first few minutes of any drive. Oil is thicker and slower to circulate when it's cold. Clearances between metal parts haven't settled to their normal operating tolerances as aluminum and steel expand at different rates while warming. And on turbocharged engines, the turbo itself hasn't reached a stable temperature either. Asking for hard throttle during that window loads everything before it's actually ready for it. This doesn't mean idling in the driveway. That does nothing for a modern engine except waste gas and annoy the neighbors. It means giving it the first few minutes before demanding real power. Ease into the drive, keep things smooth, and let the engine come up to temperature naturally as you go, rather than gunning it the moment you pull out of the driveway or a parking spot. Once the temperature gauge is off the bottom and climbing toward normal, drive however you want, as hard as you want. It's an easy habit to skip when you're in a hurry, and the car feels perfectly normal the second it starts. But it's also one of the simplest, highest leverage things you can do for this engine over the years you own it. Ironically, the habit that saves the most money long-term isn't this one. It's the next one, and it's the one almost every BMW owner gets wrong without ever realizing it. Habit 2. Check your oil level between changes, not just at the change. Most owners check their oil once at the service, and never again until the next one. On several BMW engines, the N54 and N63 come up constantly in this conversation. Oil consumption between changes isn't unusual, and running low without noticing puts rod bearings and valve train components at real risk of running under-lubricated for stretches at a time. This isn't necessarily a defect to fix. It's a characteristic to manage with a habit. And the habit is simply checking the level every few weeks instead of assuming a full interval means a full engine. Some owners go an entire service interval, never realizing they were running a quart or more low for the last several thousand miles, simply because nothing on the dashboard flagged it until things were already marginal. Get in the habit of checking the dipstick, or the digital oil level reading on models that have replaced it, at least once between changes. More often if your engine is known for consumption. If the level is consistently dropping before the next service, top it off rather than waiting, and mention the pattern to whoever services the car. This single habit, more than almost anything else on this list, is the difference between owners who get 250,000 plus miles out of these engines, and owners who end up needing bearing work far earlier for reasons they never saw coming, because nobody told them to look. By the way, if you want the complete maintenance roadmap for your specific engine, every interval, every fluid spec, every quirk like this one laid out in full, the complete BMW Longevity Bible has it all in one place. Links in the description for anyone who'd rather have the whole reference than piece it together video by video. Habit 3. Cool down a turbo after hard driving. After sustained highway driving or a spirited backroad run, the turbocharger housing is running extremely hot. Hot enough that oil sitting inside the turbo's bearing housing can begin to break down and coke, or bake into a hard varnish, if it stops circulating too abruptly. Shut the engine off the instant. You pull into the garage after a hard drive, and that's exactly what happens. Oil flow stops instantly while the housing is still near peak temperature, and the residual heat cooks whatever oil is left sitting in there, Over time, that baked residue restricts oil flow to the turbo bearings, which is one reason many turbo specialists recommend avoiding an immediate shutdown after sustained high-load driving, regardless of make. The fix is simple. After any extended highway stretch or hard driving, give the engine 30 seconds to a minute of gentle idle or light load driving before you shut it off. That short window lets oil keep circulating through the turbo bearings while the housing sheds its worst heat, instead of trapping that heat against oil that's no longer moving. In practice, this usually just means taking the last stretch home gently, rather than gunning it right up to the driveway and killing the engine the second you're in park. You don't need to sit in the driveway idling for a full minute if you've already covered that window on the way in. It's a habit borrowed straight from turbo and diesel culture, where cool-down periods have been standard practice for decades, and it applies just as much to a daily driven 3 Series as to anything with a bigger turbo bolted on. Habit 4. Don't let the engine lug at low RPM under load. Modern BMWs are tuned to short shift early for fuel economy, which is fine most of the time, but climbing a grade, merging hard, or accelerating from low speed in too tall a gear asks the engine to produce high torque at low RPM, and that's a genuinely stressful load on rod bearings and the crank. It doesn't feel dramatic from the driver's seat. The engine just labors along quietly, maybe with a faint shudder through the pedal. Easy to ignore because nothing about it feels urgent in the moment. But that quiet strain, repeated constantly over years of commuting up the same hill or merging onto the same on-ramp, is a real contributor to bearing wear over time. The kind of thing that never shows up as a single incident, only as an engine that seems to age faster than its mileage would suggest. The habit is simply noticing when the transmission is holding too tall a gear for the load you're asking it to pull, and manually dropping a gear, with the shifter or the paddles, instead of letting the engine grind it out in the name of economy. On an automatic, this sometimes means overriding the transmission's economy-first logic yourself in exactly the moments it's optimizing for the wrong thing. It costs nothing, and takes half a second once it's a habit. The hard part is just noticing it's happening, since the car will never tell you. Habit 5. Don't ignore small warning signs because the car still drives fine. This is the habit that has nothing to do with how you accelerate or when you shut the car off, and everything to do with paying attention. A rough, cold start that clears up after a few seconds. A faint vibration through the pedals or steering wheel that wasn't there last year. A small oil spot on the driveway that's not that bad. A sweet coolant smell after a drive. Cranking that takes a half second longer than it used to. None of these stop the car from driving normally, which is exactly why they get ignored. There's no dashboard light, no dead stop on the highway. Just a small change that's easy to explain away as the car just doing that now. The habit is treating those small signs as information rather than noise. A rough cold start can point to a fuel or ignition issue that's putting extra strain on the engine every single start, not just an annoyance to shrug off. A faint leak rarely stays faint. Gaskets and seals that start weeping tend to get worse on their own timeline, not yours. And what's a drop on the driveway today can be a real leak in a year. A longer crank can be an early sign of a battery or starter issue heading toward the kind of failure that stresses the whole electrical and charging system. The same system Habit 2's oil consumption logic and everything else on this list depends on running cleanly. None of this needs to become a full diagnostic obsession, and it doesn't mean chasing every noise the car makes. It just means when something changes, even something small enough that the car still drives perfectly fine, you get it looked at within weeks, not years, while it's still a small and inexpensive problem instead of the root cause of something much bigger. Owners who build this habit tend to catch the $200 fix. Owners who don't tend to eventually pay for the $4,000 one it turned into. Habit 6. Avoid repeated hard launches. Flooring it from a stop and letting the wheels break loose feels great, and on a BMW with the stability systems switched off, it's easy to do. These cars are engineered to make that feel controllable and fun, which is exactly why it's tempting to make a habit of it. The habit worth building instead is simple. Let the car manage that moment, rather than overriding it every time the opportunity comes up. Full wheel spin followed by sudden re-grip sends a shock load through the transmission, differential, and drive shaft that a torque-managed launch never produces. And on X-Drive models, that shock load travels straight into a transfer case and center differential engineered to split power smoothly, not absorb repeated jolts. This doesn't mean never having fun with the car, and it doesn't mean driving nervously the rest of the time. It means making DSC off launches the exception, reserved for a track or an empty lot, rather than the daily habit at every green light next to someone who wants to see what the car can do. Owners who make hard, wheel-spinning launches a regular street habit are often the same ones chasing a whining transfer case or a leaking differential seal years down the line, with no single dramatic moment to point to. Just years of small shock loads that added up quietly in the background, invisible until the day they're not. Habit 7. Drive smoothly more often than you drive aggressively. This last one ties the rest of the list together. Every habit above is really a version of the same idea. Smooth, progressive inputs put less cumulative stress on an engine and drivetrain than sharp, sudden ones. And the difference rarely shows up in any single drive. It shows up 10 years later, in the gap between an engine that's tired at 120,000 miles and one that's still strong past 250,000. A BMW is genuinely fun to drive hard sometimes, and none of this is an argument against that, or against buying a performance car and enjoying it. It's an argument for making smooth, patient inputs the default you return to on an ordinary Tuesday commute, and saving the hard driving for the moments you actually mean to have it. A back road, a track day, an on-ramp with nobody around, rather than making aggressive inputs the habit itself. Think of it less as a restriction and more as a budget. Every engine has a finite amount of hard use it can absorb well over its life, and every other habit on this list is really about not spending that budget carelessly on the moments that don't matter. The daily commute, the grocery run, the school pickup, so it's still there when you actually want to use it. None of these 7 habits cost $1 or require a trip to the shop. They're just a handful of small decisions repeated correctly, drive after drive, for years. That's really the pattern behind every BMW that makes it well past 200,000 miles without drama. Not luck, not a magic fluid, just habits nobody ever explained the reasoning behind, practiced consistently enough that they stop feeling like effort at all. The owners running these cars past 250,000 and 300,000 miles usually can't tell you exactly when these habits became automatic. They just did, over years of doing them the same way every time. If you want the complete picture, every interval, every fluid, every setting and habit laid out engine by engine, the complete BMW Longevity Bible ties it all together. Links in the description. Which of these 7 are you already doing, and which one are you starting today? Tell me your engine in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.